So, what does he hold then, right? In other words, Ehrman holds that the New Testament, in order for it to be inspired, it must have certain characteristics.
So this is Bart Ehrman's list of must-haves.
That's right.
For the Bible.
If the Bible is inspired, it must meet these standards.
Right. Okay.
Basically, is what he's saying. Right. So it must have been copied a certain way throughout the years. Right. And of course, it's by what he thinks the way it should be.
Right.
Secondly, one must have close to absolute certainty about virtually every reading and translation. We have to know that this particular translation is exactly the way, and that the authors meant it to be, right? And the reading is exactly what they wanted to say, right? So it must have close to absolute certainty about virtually every reading and translation. And then number 3, the Bible must contain books that say the same thing in almost exactly the same way.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So if one of them says that, Jesus turned the water into wine, they all must say that Jesus turned the water into wine.
In that same way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when Ehrman realized that the Bible didn't meet his expectations, he fell, and he fell hard, is what our authors tell us. He began to see diversity, right, as contradictions. Right, so Jesus turned the water into wine. The water pots. There were a bunch of water pots, or there were 5 water pots. Oh, somebody said bunch. Somebody said 5. Which is it? That's a contradiction.
Right.
That kind of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And so when he realized that the Bible didn't meet these expectations, he kind of that was it for him, mm-hmm. right? He began to view harmonization, right? Okay, now we can harmonize these accounts and put them together so that they work.
Which every historian has to do for anything with more than one account.
Yeah, exactly. So he began to view this harmonization as really being irresponsible in terms of, doing history.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But then if you would take this list and apply it to something that Ehrman would view, if the Bible did have the same exact account of the Canaan wedding, then they're just copying from each other, and so how can you even be certain that the first person got it right?
Yeah,
I mean you can.
So you lose either way, right?
Right. It's
either they're diverse in what they say, and so they're contradictory. Right. Or they say the exact same thing, so they're just copying each other.
Right.
So you get to throw it out either way. Right.
And I think people that do textual criticism, especially the believers in the camp, actually point and highlight this diversity and the transmission process of the Scripture as a positive thing. So if you're trying to sneak in Jesus is divine only here, then having a central text that's controlled by a small set of people, well, that's easy to manipulate. But if it goes out to the known Roman world and we find pieces in Turkey and Africa and Asia and all these places, well, that actually strengthens the ability to see the central claims within all these. And so, these points are being made, and textual criticism within the text and the bird's eye view of the text have been written about, and the diversity doesn't seem to be that much of a problem. In fact, Bart Ehrman's own number, I always say this because it was my first introduction with James White. He always used to say there are 300,000 variations within the text of the New Testament.
Right.
And James White's like, well, it's probably more like 400,000. And so that's now the number that Bart Ehrman uses.
Yeah.
So he can appreciate the scholarship of New Testament.
They left out
believers.
the.
Yeah.
That's
that
one
is,
of them.
That is technically one.
Right. Well, they said the twice, right? When they were translating.
Right.